After 20 hours of labor on April 3rd, 1991, I was welcomed into the world. Fast forward 3.5 years later, and on October 7th, 1994, my little brother Ryan was born after 10 hours of labor. But what events occurred before the actual births? And what steps did my parents take to ensure that they would become good parents? And most importantly, what were their inner thoughts during the 9 months of both pregnancies? I decided to find the answers to these questions and more by interviewing my parents about the births of their 2 children. To assist me with presenting my findings, I have enlisted the help of my 2 best friends and my boyfriends. After interviewing my parents, I was pleased to find that many of the concepts found in Turner and West and in Stone were present in the interviews. And today I'll be discussing 4 concepts that I feel that my interviews truly embody, which are social desirability, content-based conflicts, interdependence, and openness and protection dialectic. Before I present my findings, I think it's best if I give you a little background information. My parents were married in September of 1989, and soon after they decided to start having children. In fact, one of the qualities in my dad that my mom found most attractive was that my dad was really good with children. For example, my dad comes from a huge family, so he treated many of his nieces and nephews as if they were his own children. My parents were able to get pregnant within the first 1.5 years of being married, which made them ecstatic. However, when my mom found out that she was pregnant with me, my dad was on a work trip in Australia. So although it was an extremely happy time for her, it was kind of lonely and sad because she didn't have my dad to share the news with at the time. When I was 3.5 years old, my parents announced that I would be getting a little sibling. I was over the moon excited, and every chance I got, I would talk to my mom's stomach and say hi to my little brother or little sister. When my mom delivered my brother, I was so excited because I thought I could tote him around like a little baby doll and bring him everywhere with me. Needless to say, my parents had to teach me what I could and could not do with my brother. Now, as I said before, my friends and boyfriend will be helping me present my findings. I thought the best way to do so was reenact certain parts of my interviews, and then I can explain where the concepts come into play. So first, my friend Amanda, right here, will be playing me. And my friend Nicole will be playing my mom. And finally, my boyfriend Casey will be playing my dad. All right, so let's get started.
Okay, Dad, so tell me more about the day of Ryan's birth.
Well, the end of Mom's pregnancy, there were some serious problems that put Ryan in danger. We went to the doctors and the test showed that if he wasn't born soon, he could die. Mom called me and told me to get home from work right away and that we needed to get to the hospital. She also called Grandma and Pop to come to our house and pick you up. We got to the hospital and they did some tests and gave your mother something to help the process go faster. If Ryan wasn't born very soon, the doctors were going to do a C-section to take him. Luckily, the drugs they gave your mother worked and Ryan was born quickly. He was also perfect.
Wow, you guys must have been so nervous.
Oh, we were. After Ryan was born, Mom couldn't wait to see you in the hospital. Grandma and Pop brought you to the hospital and you held Ryan. You had a big smile and kissed him and as you held him. Grandma also held Ryan. But Pop was too busy checking out the clean floors and didn't hold Ryan. I don't think he even realized that he was seeing his grandson for the first time.
Right, so besides the fact that my Pop's reaction to me and my brother for the first time wasn't what we were all expecting it to be, it also demonstrated the concept of social desirability. Now, social desirability states that people act in certain ways that they feel will elicit positive responses. So in other words, people act in certain ways according to norms that will keep their friendships intact. Now, family members, however, have a lower need for social desirability because more often than not, even if their actions are terrible, their family is still going to stay together. Now, with this being said, Pop didn't feel as though that he needed to act in the norms associated with seeing your grandson for the first time because he knew no matter how he reacted, me, my dad, my brother, and my mom would always be a part of his life.
Alright, so now let's talk about the day of my birth.
Well, we got your mom checked in the hospital and started waiting for you. It was a long time and a lot of walking. I don't remember a lot of it, but your mom likes to say how I was so tired and stopped walking around the halls with her. I remember doing a lot of walking and waiting. We would pass the same couples in the hall, walking around a lot too. It was hard because there really wasn't anything I could do to help your mom. I felt really helpless.
In this particular part of the interview, my dad demonstrated the concept of interdependence. Interdependence basically means that because family members are closely tied together, what affects one member also affects another member. Now, my mom's physical pain of being in labor affected my dad in a negative way as well, because he took on her pain just in an emotional way. Because my dad saw my mom in pain, he too was in pain because he couldn't help her. The next scene that you'll be seeing takes place in the living room, as you see, where I am interviewing my mom and my dad walks in, and this contributes to the next concept.
So we're doing the kids' birth stories for this project?
Yep, Ryan's and Chelsea's.
Good, because I don't know anything about when Ryan was born.
What, are you kidding?
I know very little.
You were there.
I know more about Chelsea's birth. I shaved right before she was born, right? Right before we went to the hospital. Or was that Ryan?
I don't even want to talk about that. We were supposed to keep walking in the hospital, but we were waiting for you to finally come. And he crapped out on me and stopped.
I was with you the whole time.
What are you guys talking about?
And I'm the one in labor, back labor also. And I was bent over. I couldn't even stand up. It was that painful. And then he's way behind me because he had to walk to bring on the labor. And after a while, he wouldn't do it. So I just kept going. I knew he'd do that. He lies about everything and he's a bad person.
Oh, whatever.
This particular part of the interview describes my parents' relationship perfectly and also illustrates the concept of content-based conflicts. A content-based conflict is basically just an argument about a particular subject between two or more family members. Now, what's interesting about this conflict is that as the disagreement continues, the positions of the family members who are arguing become fixed if they believe that a compromise will diminish their individual power. Now, my parents were engaged in a content-based conflict because they both disagreed about a particular memory. My mom took it a step farther and displayed a desire to keep her power during the argument. Because she wanted to stay in control of the argument, her position became rigid, because if they compromised, that would mean that she lost the argument and her recollection of the memory would be the wrong one. As a result, my dad decided that he was over the argument because he realized that my mom wasn't going to give in, so he let her win.
Mom, tell me some more about while you were pregnant.
Well, we found out you were a girl and we were so excited. We told everyone that the baby was a girl, but we didn't tell anybody her name because we wanted it to be a surprise. I felt kind of bad not telling my close friends or family, and I kept going back and forth in my mind if I should tell them or not.
My mom's conflicting desire to tell her friends and family the name of her unborn child and to keep it a secret illustrated the openness and protection dialectic. This particular dialectic tension refers to the opposing wishes of sharing personal information to friends and family and allowing oneself to be open and vulnerable versus being more tactile and protective in one's communication. This marks the end of my presentation. Just to review, my interview with my parents about their births of their two children include the following four concepts: social desirability, interdependence, content-based conflict, and openness and protection dialectic. I urge all of you to sit down with your parents and talk about the moments leading up to your births. I bet some of the stories might surprise you and even give you a new outlook on your parents.